Your brother, your friend, your dietitian back again for another installment. Inspirit Nutrition. 4 reasons why you should never rent. You should own. Let's get it popping. The first reason is you're always paying a mortgage. The question is, whose mortgage are you paying? Some people rent their entire lives and never own because they don't know about ownership. They don't know the value of ownership. They don't know the benefits of ownership, and they're controlled by the landlord or the company that they are living, or the company that owns the establishment or the home or the apartment building that they're living in. They say that if you're renting, then if you're living somewhere, you're paying a mortgage, whether it's you're paying your own mortgage or you're paying someone else's. People who rent pay someone else's mortgage. What does that mean? If someone builds a apartment building or a new home, they have to get a loan typically, unless they have large sums of money. But most of the time they get loans, and they themselves have a mortgage on that apartment building that they have. But they rent out the apartment building for profit. Portion of the rent comes to them in the form of profit. Another portion goes to paying the mortgage. So anytime you're living anywhere, you're paying someone's mortgage. Either you're paying your mortgage if you own the home, or if your name's on the deed and you're paying the mortgage, or you're living in another person's home or another person's apartment building and you're paying their mortgage. So, for example, some people live in apartment buildings for, say, 10 years, right? And they've paid, let's say, $1,000 a month for a year is $12,000, right? Multiply that by 10, they paid $120,000 towards somebody else's mortgage, whether it's their an apartment building or whether it's a home that they're renting out. They've paid 120 G's towards someone else's mortgage. You can see that you're not getting any equity. Equity is value over time. Equity is debts minus value and whatever's left. So it doesn't really make sense to rent if you can own. Now, I already put out a video about books that changed my life, Nothing Down, by Robert G. Allen, that discuss how to get a home with nothing down. So some people will say, okay, I can afford rent, but I can't afford a down payment on a home. Yes, you can. Don't say what you cannot do. There are other possibilities. You also cannot pass down something that you rent to your children. Ownership provides a legacy. It provides something that you can pass down to your descendants, something you can give off to your offspring, to your firstborn daughter, to your firstborn son, etc. You can pass that down. Another reason is renting doesn't make sense because you don't have your own privacy or autonomy. When you're renting a space, if you're in a nice apartment, then the landlord, the management company, they don't give you any slack. You may have a nice pool, and you may have a public pool that everyone can use in the apartment. You may get nice service. They may respect you, but they limit how loud you can play music, if you can have parties, how many guests you can have over, how long they can stay. You don't have freedom when you're renting out an apartment. So it makes more sense to own if you can own. The last reason why you should never rent and you should actually own is because you're actually creating equity and value into a property when you're paying off a mortgage that you have title to, as opposed to paying off a mortgage that someone else has title to. So, for example, if you're working and you're paying $1,000 for rent every month, like I said, for 12 months, at the end of the year, you will have paid $12,000 towards someone else's mortgage, and you have a nice apartment. You have you will have taken care of yourself, provided shelter for yourself, but it makes more sense to say at the end of the year, my house originally cost me $120,000, but I put $12,000 towards the payment of it at the end of this year. So now I have a house that is not worth just the debt. A house with not just 120K debt, but now I'm down to 108K debt, and my house value is actually 120,000. So I have $12,000 in equity. You can build wealth this way. There are other complexities determining if you should purchase or rent in your home. In your hometown, or in your city. Let me say that again. There are different determining factors that will let you know if you should rent or buy in your city. You could look into those, look up articles on that, research. Is it more affordable for me to rent in this city or to buy? Some cities like New York, Malibu, Manhattan Beach, or Manhattan, Los Angeles, it's difficult. San Francisco, it's difficult to purchase a home, whereas you could probably afford to rent. But in the long run, like many things dealing with truth and wisdom, it's better and it's more beneficial to invest in a home. Your brother, your friend, your dietitian, back again for another installment. Inspirit Nutrition. Peace.